One of the biggest surprises in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 is how CBS finally reshapes Georgie Cooper's long-standing reputation, completely breaking away from the divisive image he carried in young Sheldon. For years, Georgie was seen as the Cooper sibling who didn't quite measure up, the dropout, the troublemaker, the impulsive young man whose decisions often created headaches for the rest of the family. Even fans who loved him still viewed him as the kid who messed up. But Season 2 of the spinoff is the first time the storytelling finally forces us to see Georgie through a clearer, more mature lens. Instead of being portrayed as the family screw-up, he's finally depicted as a young man trying, often painfully, to grow up. The shift in his image doesn't come from grand gestures or dramatic speeches. It comes from the small, everyday moments that reveal who Georgie really is beneath the stereotypes. For example, we see him taking real ownership of his responsibilities, whether it's the store, his marriage, or his relationship with his daughter. Even when he makes mistakes, the show doesn't frame them as proof that he's incapable or foolish. Instead, they're shown as realistic missteps for someone his age who's been forced into adulthood much faster than he expected. For once, the narrative gives Georgie grace, something he rarely received in young Sheldon. What makes this especially meaningful is how the spin-off removes the perspective bias that young Sheldon always had. That show is told largely through Sheldon's worldview, and in Sheldon's eyes, Georgie was often an annoyance, someone he underestimated, misunderstood, and sometimes unfairly dismissed. This colored the audience's perception, too. But now, with Sheldon completely absent and Georgie standing at the center of his own story, we finally see the real emotional layers that were always there but never fully explored. The show treats Georgie as a person with ambitions, insecurities, and complicated feelings, not just the comedic foil to his genius brother. Season 2 also highlights something important that rarely came through before: Georgie's heart. He's fiercely loyal, deeply protective of the people he loves, and genuinely eager to be better, even when he doesn't always know how. His interactions with Mandy show this side of him particularly well. Their marriage isn't perfect, far from it, but it's clear Georgie wants to give Mandy and their daughter a stable life. Even when the pressure gets to him, his intentions are earnest. The writing allows viewers to empathize with him instead of judging him, which marks a major shift from how his character was handled during his teenage years. Another way CBS reshapes Georgie's image is by showing that he's capable of learning. In young Sheldon, he often acted without thinking, and consequences hit him hard. In the spin-off, he still has the impulsive streak, but we actually see him process his mistakes. When he gets overwhelmed, he tries again. When he's scared, he communicates, even if clumsily. When he doubts himself, he reaches out for support. This is the difference between a static character and a growing one, and Season 2 leans heavily into that evolution. But the biggest transformation comes from how other characters treat Georgie. Mary, Missy, and Meemaw, when they appear, no longer talk down to him the way they used to. Instead, they treat him like a man who's trying to build a family. Even Mandy, who's often skeptical of his choices, sees potential in him. This shift in the way people respond to Georgie reinforces to the audience that he's changing, and these reactions help cement his new image as someone stepping into adulthood rather than running from it. The irony, of course, is that the Georgie we see now brings him closer to the version older Sheldon described in The Big Bang Theory, a successful, responsible business owner who eventually rises far beyond what anyone expected. We're finally watching the early stages of that transformation. But instead of portraying him as a young man who simply got lucky, the series shows how much struggle, doubt, and resilience helped shape him. It makes his eventual success feel earned instead of accidental. Ultimately, Season 2 gives Georgie what he's always deserved: his own identity, independent of his brother's shadow. CBS lets him be messy, but also thoughtful. Flawed, but also capable. Unprepared, but willing to fight for the people he loves. It's a far cry from the one-dimensional troublemaker label he was stuck with for years. And for the first time, viewers are being asked to judge him on who he is now, not who he used to be. That's the real breakthrough of the season, and it finally allows Georgie Cooper to step forward as one of the most compelling characters in the entire Cooper family story. For more videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.